Chris Evans, not a movie star, returning to Avengers Doomsday. Now, I was told that women were going to save the MCU, that they were going to continue to carry on the torch, that we didn't need all these toxic male characters. And all of you fans that are talking about these things, you just hate women and you hate progress and you hate diversity. And what did we say? The MCU is not going to be successful moving forward based on what they're doing with all of these terrible characters, the identity politics, all of that. And what are they doing? They're circling back to Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. Also, Chris Evans, not a movie star, could not succeed without having the Captain America character, which is exactly what I've been saying about Chris Evans for a while. That's not a negative or a positive to him. It's just a fact and it's reality. My problem with Chris Evans is that he acts like he's a big deal on social media. When he's talking about voting and get out the vote, and he talks about all this bullshit. He single-handedly crashed the Buzz Lightyear movie that he voiced when he stole the role from Tim Allen, and they made some woke bullshit, and it was this massive failure. It's like, Chris Evans, shut the fuck up. You're not a star, and nobody really gives a shit about anything you have to say. People like you when you're playing Captain America. That's it. You're not a movie star. And now we don't have confirmation as to what the role is yet. It even says here in the Variety article. So it says, the actor best known to Marvel fans for playing Steve Rogers, aka Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is circling another MCU appearance in 2026's comic book epic. However, it's not clear who he'll be playing. At the end of 2019's Avengers Endgame, Cap had aged into an old man and passed the character's patriotic shield to Black Captain America. And this summer, Evans showed up in a brief scene, stealing role in the billion-dollar smash Deadpool and Wolverine as Johnny Storm. Blah, 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 blah. So Joe and Anthony Russo are directing Doomsday. So what do you think? Do you think that he's going to come back as Captain America after Black Captain America fails too? Because that's going to fail. I don't know how bad that movie's going to be. We'll see. But I don't anticipate Brave New World, I think is the title they're going with for the new Black Captain America movie. Right. I don't think that movie's going to do very well at all, considering the massive budget, the reshoots, and all the problems that they're facing with that. So they're essentially going to have this massive budgeted Captain America movie with Black Captain America, and it's going to fail. We all know that if Chris Evans was Captain America in a new Captain America movie, it would more than likely be very successful. It might not be $1 billion movie, but it would be a pretty big success, because as much as he's not a movie star, he's fantastic as Captain America. I have never argued that point. I think he's great in the role. What do you think, though? What do you think they're going to do here?
A few things. So, yeah, Captain America 4, at this point, they're going on like what? Over $400 million as far as
it's almost it's out of control.
Almost 500 million maybe. This movie's doomed because it's going to have to make close to $1 billion in the box office just to break even at that point. It's not going to do well. But what I predict for Chris Evans in Avengers Doomsday, he's going to come back as some variant, some version of Captain America. I think that they'll likely do the evil Captain America where he works for Hydra.
Right there.
Yep. That's what I think. And I think that what Marvel, the MCU is going to try to do is they are going to try to validate Anthony Mackie's Captain America, and they're going to go head to head and fight. And Sam Wilson, Sam Wilson's Captain America is going to best
Nazi Captain America.
The Yahtzee Captain America.
Right, that's right.
And that's going to be your validation that, oh, Sam Wilson really is Captain America because he beat the true evil Captain America. And that's Marvel's way of validating his existence as Captain America.
Oh, it's going to be so great.
That's what I think is going to happen.
It's going to be great. And I agree with everything you're saying. And it's going to be great from a standpoint that it's going to be so bad and it's going to be so predictable, because this is what we've always said that their mindset is. And so there you go. I agree with you that I think that that's the direction they're going to go in. And it's all meant to continue to validate Sam Wilson's Captain America, who will never be validated because he was a great character as Falcon. It was great. Well,
Right.
why do you have to sit there and throw him into a role that he's, that Chris Evans built up? And it's just absolutely insane. No one is interested in the Black Captain America bullshit. And I think that this direction is only going to make that worse for them. Listen, like the whole thing, do I think people are going to show up to see this movie? Absolutely. Absolutely. They're going to show up and see Avengers Doomsday. You've got Robert Downey Jr. returning. It doesn't matter what role he's returning is. Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU is box office gold. Now, I think that Robert Downey Jr. is more of a movie star than Chris Evans, but I don't think either one of them are like as big I think there's this idea that Robert Downey Jr. is a movie star because he does have like he has a level of charisma that's rare in Hollywood, but what else outside
Well, he's Hollywood
of
royalty.
Yeah, but what else outside of his Iron Man role, which is box office gold? What else does he pull numbers in any other direction on any other? Like I know he was great in Oppenheimer and he won like an Oscar. But he's not the reason people went to see Oppenheimer.
The only other thing is for him was maybe Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, those didn't do those were fine, but
they
weren't
fine. They did two of them, but if like you're like a Sherlock Holmes purist, like I know that Jed hated those Sherlock Holmes movies. I enjoyed them, when I was a kid. But I haven't seen them in probably like 10 years. But they made two of them, so I guess the first one did all right. But yeah, he tried to do Dr. Dolittle. That failed. That was horrible. And he didn't really do anything. He went vegan. He was eating fucking bugs. It looked like he was a fucking cancer patient. And then he got back on. He got back on the meat diet, and now he's gonna be Dr. Doom. So. I'm intrigued, but I don't have much faith in it. I don't understand. It's going to take a lot of fucking explaining, and well, I don't know. We'll see.
Marvel is in this position, and they deserve to be in this position. They've done this to themselves. They have done this to themselves. They have put themselves in this position, and I don't see any long-term benefits from this. I see short-term benefits for sure by bringing Downey and Chris Evans back into the fold, but I don't see any long-term at all. And they've done a lot to destroy their brand in the last 5 years for sure. So I do think your prediction overall as to where what they're going to do with Chris Evans returning, I agree with that. And I think it's going to be absolutely hilarious to watch that all play out if that's the direction they go. But the level of excitement for Chris Evans returning is definitely not on par with what happened with Robert Downey Jr. Like, it's not even close.
Yes. Well, and that's because they did it at San Diego Comic-Con. They had this huge announcement where there's like, okay, we're moving on from our original slate of they were going to do Avengers Kang Dynasty. The Jonathan Major stuff happened, so they needed to kind of like jump ship and start a new path for their slate of Avengers movies. So they announced, we're going to do Avengers Doomsday. We're going to have Doctor Doom, Fantastic Four. And here's Robert Downey Jr. on the stage. You remember Robert Downey Jr., your favorite character in the MCU? Well, now he's a villain. They did that whole presentation for it. Now with Chris Evans returning, they're just like, oh yeah, just put it out there on Twitter.
Yeah, and I see some people bringing up their whole the Avengers doing the whole Kamala bullshit. I hope that hurts them in the long run. I really do. I hope that does significant damage by 2026, 2027. Whenever Doomsday comes out, I don't know if people are still going to remember that or not. I hope they do, but I don't anticipate people remembering that long. Now, if they continue to do nonsense like that, then it will stay relevant in people's minds. But if they just don't, if they just kind of fall in line, I guess we'll see.
Man, well, and here's the other thing. If they're going to bring Chris Evans back as evil Captain America, let's say for Doomsday, to even further validate, let's take it a step further. To even further validate Sam Wilson, Captain America, he's going to turn evil Captain America good. And then they're going to fight side by side together, two shields for Avengers Secret Wars. Because how are they going to bring Chris Evans and because Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in Fantastic Four, Doomsday, and Secret Wars. Chris Evans only being in Doomsday, that doesn't sound right. Only being in that movie, when you're going to have the rest of the crew for the next one, and even probably some some bigger hitters like Tobey Maguire could be Spider-Man in Secret Wars, Andrew Garfield. They're going to pull out everything. They could do the Council of Reed Richards and have the OG Fantastic Four Reed Richards with Pedro Pascal. You got 2 Reed Richards now. So they're going to do some crazy shit for Secret Wars, and I can totally see Chris Evans coming back as a good version of Captain America for that one. But I think he starts off evil in Doomsday.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how it all plays out. But I do hope that I hope that the core reason for this is just to bring him back, just so they can put over Sam Wilson's Captain America, so he can punch a Nazi. That's really,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's what, and it's going to be such a meme.
Yep.
And Marvel deserves exactly what they're going through right now. They deserve all of this bullshit. So, all right, so. Chris Evans, not a movie star, back in the MCU, apparently.